I love to run. I love the free sensation of sailing through the tall grass, high above the tiny rust-colored roofs of the houses, with only the rhythm of my feet hitting the ground and the sound of the wind blowing past my ears. I love the outdoors, and often after a run, when I have to come down from my trails above the clouds, back to earth and into my home, I miss the open feeling. Because indoor spaces are often cramped, cluttered, or misused. I must admit, my own house is as well, as clean and organized as it is. And this applies to almost all of us. For the amount of time we spend indoors, you would think we would be experts at maximizing the utility and aesthetics of spaces. But this expectation is a little high. Realistically, we tend to buy furniture and accessories for utility or cost, and place them in a room where they seem right, resulting in a mashup of knickknacks and items. But it's actually pretty important to make sure that our interior living spaces reflect ourselves and are useful, aesthetic, and effectively maximize the space. Now, what most of you are probably thinking about is small spaces, how to make the most of tiny rooms and limited areas. And yes, this is extremely important, especially for people living in dorms, apartments, or small houses. One of the best ways to maximize a small space is to use compact and multifunctional furniture, as well as furniture that doubles as storage. Expandable furniture like sofa beds and nesting tables make great use of space, and drawers under the bed and wall storage like cupboards also maximize space. However, avoid using a mishmash of small furniture pieces. Less but larger furniture uses up the space in a room and actually makes it look bigger and grander. But still, be cautious and don't crowd a room with huge items. Instead, use small coffee tables and pieces like that will maximize functionality, but by using minimal square footage. An important thing to remember is to utilize all three dimensions of a space, including any odd insets or slants. You can also make a room seem bigger by actually fooling the eye. Colors can impact a room's apparent size much more than you might think. Having soothing, even-colored walls makes a room seem bigger, because bright or busy walls give an appearance of clutter and excess. Additionally, painting ceilings a slightly lighter shade than the walls makes a room seem brighter. In bathrooms, having glass shower stalls that stretch from floor to ceiling can make it look like the floor continues into the stall, and the bathroom will appear more spacious. Last but not least, large mirrors that cover a wall do wonders to expand spaces, especially in restaurants. They trick the eye into thinking that a room is much larger than it is, even if you know that there is a mirror there. But what if you have a large space? Often having too much space can be as much of a challenge as having too little. And accessorizing an oversized room? Well, you could say there's a lot of room for error. One idea is to paint two-tone walls, which gives the illusion of the ceiling being slightly lower than it is, and the room seems cozier. Filling up the room with a large seating plan also works well to use up the space, but leaving too much space between pieces can make it seem empty or scarcely furnished. So use a large ottoman instead of a small coffee table, or place small chairs and benches in between large gaps. One important thing to remember is that you can also make great use of a large space by sectioning it off with furniture to create zones. These zones can be specialized for activities, like a dining area, TV area, and maybe a desk or a working area. Using a console table behind a sofa, or placing a daybed, bench, or chaise in the center of the room can create these zones. Another problem with large rooms is that many people tend to place large furniture like sofas and tables directly up against a wall. However, if the space is extremely large, it's almost always a good idea to pull furniture off the walls and bring it closer to the middle of the room to create a sense of coziness. This will leave a lot of empty wall space, but you can place large picture frames on the walls to prevent them from feeling bare, or you can even have narrow tables, small chairs, or benches against the walls. Finally, don't hesitate to use up the space. If you've created a main living area, but one corner or section remains rather empty, creating a second, smaller space may be a good idea. It might be more comfortable for when you're by yourself or with small groups, because the main area may be better suited to large numbers of guests. But let's bring it back to why this all matters. The importance of maximizing space is often lost in our busy and cluttered lives, where the only space that seems to matter is how much storage you have left on your phone. But really, the clutter and chaos that many people have in their homes today says a lot about society's habit to keep buying things, and to then suffer from materialism. More and more people are buying into the mentality that being rich is the ultimate goal, so that they can buy more and be happier. But countless studies have shown that wealth and happiness have no direct correlation. Extremely wealthy people, billionaires, actually suffer from higher levels of depression. Because once your basic needs have been met, being more wealthy may lead to more materialism and eventually cause excess in your life. And while this may sound cliche, money cannot buy happiness, and living a good life is more about your relationships, activities, and connections. And as we lose ourselves in this frenzy of wanting to be rich and buying more, it's important to remember that this mentality often reflects in our homes. Which is why maximizing the space in your home, and not necessarily filling it, is important to helping us function at our best, and not have unnecessary stress from a chaotic or cluttered environment. I find my freedom from life's chaos up there in the hills, when I go running. But it's easy to forget that we need to find the same calm in our homes, for which I hope you can all make room.